and welcome to my New Year's resolution. I have created a survey and sent it to 9 members of my friends and family, posing the question: if you could make everyone in the world listen to 3 albums, what would they be? I will then be listening to their selections and grading them based on a completely arbitrary criteria. Next up is my friend Maddy. My predictions for Maddy were LCD sound system, moody dance music, and randomly Ella Fitzgerald or something super classy and old. I think the second one was the most accurate, so stay tuned for that. We're getting into territory I have feared and sweated over in anticipation, which is that the stuff I put on the whiteboard is going to start to be behind Shake Spaniel. That's his name. He came with it. I didn't name him that. So I think what I'm going to do now that I've introduced the whiteboard close-up mechanic is that I'm going to leave him here in the wide shot, and then when I do the close-ups, he's just not going to be there anymore. Sorry. I know you love him. Okay. Might be projecting that onto you. But so if you're like, oh, I can't see, just sit tight and you will be able to when I do the close-ups. Maddy's first album is Food by MF Doom.
With no brains but gum flap, he said his gun clapped, then he fled after one slap. Son, shut your trap, save it for the bitches. Delicious, rap snitch delicious.
This album was great. I was mind blown. There was a really interesting sort of narrative mechanic where they used audio clips from what I believe to be Fantastic Four cartoons. Yes, I looked that up. I'm an investigative journalist. Yeah, very unique, very good, very lyrical. That's to come. Here's my dance to Food.
Rap snitches, telling all their business, sit in the court and be their own star witness. Do you see the perpetrator? Yeah, I'm right here. Fuck around, get the whole label sent up for you.
Safe to say, it is definitely possible to bust a move to Food. I think the only thing to detract is that there are some largest chunks that are like spoken and kind of from cartoons. So harder to dance to those bits, but you can if you're creative. And so I gave it a 4 out of 5 danceability. Rap is tending to get the highest lyrical ratings for me. I'm not saying nothing else could beat it, but they just kind of are putting out all the stops. Pulling out all the stops. So I gave it 5 out of 5 lyrics. They're just like, so clever, the rhymes are great. It's dense with them. More lyrics means more higher lyrical score. Not always. If it was bad, then I wouldn't do that, but I did this time. Okay, and I can't say that I necessarily got all of the lyrics, so I could be off balance here. I was impressed, I was excited. Those are some emotions I felt about this album. I just don't think the subject matter was that emotional, but there was like a real like personal quality to it. He talks about himself a lot and how he sees himself and his mask and his, he seems to love Fantastic Four. And so I like that. I gave it a 3 out of 5 emotional response. Prettiness is pretty middling. It definitely wasn't, you know, grating or hard to listen to, but it's not the most melodic, so I gave it a 3 out of 5. Overall, I really like this album. I didn't mention this in the lyrics, but there is a food theme, which I think is so fun. Obviously, the name is like an anagram of MF Doom, and then like I think all of the songs have some sort of connection to different foods. So I love a theme, loved that. I just thought a lot of the lyrics were genius, and it's like really wordy rap, but it's still got like a beat to it. It's fun. It's pretty danceable, like I mentioned. So this did really well in my estimation. I gave it a 9 out of 10 total. And my favorite song was Deep Fried Friends.
No sense. What happened to the loyalty? Honor amongst crooks, trust amongst royalty. I'd rather go out in a blaze than give them the glory. A similar story.
Maddy's second album was Cut by the Slits. This album was another great selection. It was like not like anything I'd ever heard before. It sounded to me like some ska vibes and some punk vibes, and I was kind of realizing that those are really similar, which is maybe obvious to other people, but I also felt like it was kind of greater than the sum of its parts genre-wise. Like, I don't always love either of those genres, and I really liked what this was. There was also some layering that was kind of musical theater-y, which you know I love. So this was a really interesting pick, and here is me giving it the old dance-a-rooney. This is what I think about dancing to this album, is that it's an intriguing challenge. The rhythm is definitely kind of inconsistent, so that's what makes it a challenge. But it's like still got such a it's got an upbeat sound to it that makes it fun to think about dancing to. So I did give it a 3 out of 5. I can't give it points for being easy to dance to, but definitely interesting. Something you may notice now that you're closer up to the whiteboard is that the writing kind of goes from being very legible and taking up a lot of space to I'm trying to squeeze it in at the end here. So sorry if you can't read it, but just remember from top to bottom it's danceability, lyrics, emotions, prettiness, and then hopefully you can read the numbers. And I'm saying them, so you know, whatever. I liked the lyrics in this album a lot. They were unique, like they were painting interesting portraits of their subjects, kind of going into some different characters or personality types that I haven't necessarily heard songs about before. I think these women are German, and so there's a little bit of German in there. That's unique, that's fun. And yes, it's I liked it a lot. Some of it was relatable to me about being a woman and stuff. Some of it was not, but interesting. So 4 out of 5 I gave it. Like I said, with emotional response, I love this. I thought it was really compelling, and I found a lot of it relatable. But not all of it. So I gave it a 4 out of 5 emotional response. In terms of prettiness, like I said, this was very punk. There was like kind of a discordant, chaotic energy to it, so I guess that would detract. But then there also was like a lot of, I feel like there was like steel drums or something. Like the instruments were very pretty, and there, I don't know, like the tune was just like catchy. So it's like I think there were definitely elements of prettiness. They were like clashing up against the elements of chaos. I like that. But I gave it a 3 out of 5 for prettiness. I really like this album. And I thought it was like new, something I wouldn't have found on my own, so I like that a lot. I will say I think it started stronger than it finished. Like my favorite songs were towards the beginning, and then there was like more of a shift to the chaos, the discordantness, and a little bit away from the like poppy, peppy energy. So it got an 8 out of 10 from me overall, and my favorite song was So Tough, second in the album. Maddy's final album is Debut by Bjork. I think the last one was some level of moody dance music. This one is like pinnacle moody dance music, so that's where I believe I was correct. And here is my dance to Debut. Okay, maybe I'm eating my words because I did just call this dance music. But I found it hard to dance to because it just has, sort of like the last album, kind of an inconsistent rhythm. It's not all very peppy. There's just something that makes it feel in the category of dance music to me, or like it's like borrowing aesthetics from pop but then doing like weird stuff with it. So, but I wouldn't say it's super dancey. Again, not impossible, but just, you know, doesn't lend itself to that. So I gave it a 2 out of 5. Lyrics, okay. I think she's a bona fide poet. The lyrics are very poetic, very creative. Here's the thing. They make me uncomfortable. So many of them are, I think on purpose, kind of evoking discomfort. But, you know, I can't knock her for being her, but I can, and I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. Emotional response is gonna have pretty much the same reasoning. It's very interesting, it's very intriguing, and some of it is like, I did really like listening to, but it just, feels designed to be kind of uncomfortable, and it sometimes sort of makes my skin crawl. And and again, it's like, I watch a lot of horror movies. Like, I'm not against feeling that way, but I did give it 2 out of 5 emotional response, basically. The prettiness here is very similar to Cut by the Slits, which is that there is like an eerie quality, but also a prettiness like bumping up against it, and I think that kind of like both enhance both. So because there's like the highs and the lows of it, I went in the middle. I gave it a 3 out of 5 prettiness. I did really enjoy the experience of listening to this album. It's unique, it's intriguing, and I had heard of Bjork, but I probably wouldn't have ended up listening to it if it weren't for this project. So I liked that. I liked it more than these ratings suggest, a little bit. And there are definitely songs in it I've gone back to that I will listen to again, but there are also songs that I wouldn't. So I gave it a 6 out of 10 total. And my favorite song was Big Time Sensuality. Thank you so much for watching. Those are Maddy's albums. I really enjoyed listening to them, and I wasn't quite sure. I obviously didn't specifically predict any of them, so it was cool to get to know Maddy's music taste a little bit more. And can you believe it? We're 2 rows done, 2/3 of the way, and yeah, just 3 videos left. So stay tuned.